All right, hello. My name is Rabbi Abram Goodstein of Congregation Beth Shalom, and I gave this sermon on March 12th, 21. As we move through our Torah portion each week, it's important to note that our first 5 books of the Tanakh have nothing to do with the temple in Jerusalem. We don't see the temple mentioned until the books of Samuel, and it isn't built until the first book of Kings. There's a lot of Bible between Genesis and Kings. And so we have in the Torah is the tabernacle, also referred to as the Mishkan or the tent of meeting. And modern scholars wonder the tabernacle's purpose and origin when it comes to biblical scholarship and biblical authorship. Did the building of our sacred structure happen in the order that we read the Bible? Or was the tabernacle a literary device only later inserted into the text by biblical authors to validate and justify the temple with this proto-temple structure? If this is true, then the temple is like the place of worship 2.0, the upgraded place to worship God. And we have a modern metaphor for this, upgrading our cell phones. When you upgrade your phone, you acknowledge that your old phone is no longer needed. And if that phone is not traded in, I imagine it sits in a drawer somewhere, most likely forgotten. This understanding of the temple as the upgrade might diminish this week's Torah portion, which carries on about building the tabernacle. But whether it's an actual tent or a literary device, the existence of the tabernacle is a powerful force in Judaism. The upgraded phone is actually an imperfect metaphor because the tabernacle has a value that the upgraded temple could never achieve, and that is mobility. Now, mobility is not a value that I would have anticipated to be so important in a religion. Judaism is often lauded as being one of the first monotheistic religions, which I'm thrilled to brag about. But I don't hear too much bragging about our mobility. But that's the innovation of what our tabernacle represents. During the time period in which the Israelites were wandering, gods at that time were not mobile. Each god or gods was stuck within the borders of what their worshippers claimed as their territory. Egyptian gods never left Egypt. Babylonian gods never left the Babylonian Empire. Yet here we have Adonai, who says to the Israelites, I go where you go. In this week's Torah portion, which God's saying, I show you how you can carry me around. There's this 16th century Italian rabbi named Sforno, who makes a really interesting observation about the tabernacle. He points out that in the Tanakh, much more gold was used to make the first temple than was used to make the tabernacle. Sforno writes, and in spite of this, the divine glory appeared more constantly in Moses' tabernacle than it did in the first temple. And he continues, this teaches us that neither the measure of wealth nor the size of the building causes the Shekinah to rest upon Israel. Rather, he says, God desires those who revere Adonai and their actions and dwells among them. I love this because here Sforno suggests that God preferred to be with the Israelites on the go. That even though the Israelites were always wandering towards Israel, they were not wandering towards Adonai because Adonai was with them. I don't think Judaism would have been so successful after our diaspora in Babylon, and even currently, without the invention of the tabernacle. Being a religion on the go is the secret to our longevity. In fact, if you look at our prayer books, like this one, you will see that it's called Mishkan Tefillah. Our tabernacle, which means our tabernacle of prayer. The portable nature of our prayer book is inherent in our prayer book's name. And I still think we are a religion on the go. But instead of physically moving forward, we are a religion that is creatively moving forward. Judaism used to be exclusively metropolitan and or urban religion. However, in a place like Alaska, we show that Judaism can be practiced anywhere. Ancient Israelites who both built the tabernacle and the temple would have never guessed how far Judaism's mobility would take it. But here, about as far north as a person can go, we inherit the tabernacle's original intent. God doesn't just dwell in a place full of silver and gold. God dwells among the people, and what better way to show how powerful God's covenant was with the Israelites than providing a place in Alaska for God to dwell in. Thank you.